the observer PC looks just fine. But yeah,
Okay.
I have this interesting visual thing right now where my draft is just all shadows and darkness, which is perfect because a creature of ultimate darkness has been selected.
Yeah, if the game is constantly in Nightfall, I think Night Stalker will be one of the best heroes in the game.
OS Frog.
And one thing I do want to mention as Night Stalker being the first pick is that Night Stalker statistically has not been doing well at all in this tournament. So surprised to see that HellRaiser is still valuing him so highly. And we see Execration going for more of the C special. A lot of the C teams really like what Witch Doctors offer. A little bit of everything. You got some strong lane control, you got some good disable, some good kind of group up and pushing in the Voodoo Restoration, and of course some good damage output in his ultimate.
Yeah, they love Witch Doctor. They pick it early, they pick it on its own. It's not like designed to be a synergy pick. It's not designed to be a counter pick to say Enchantress or Jet. They just like Witch Doctor.
Yep.
In a way that really almost nobody else does. I mean, we see the hero situationally from other teams, but very situational.
Like I think it all started with Nuts picking it himself back in the day. I think he's still the best Witch Doctor in C. Now you see DJ picking it a lot for Fnatic to kind of suit their group up playstyle with QO. But, same thing here. Most likely gonna see RR playing it.
I mean, do you actually think the hero's strong, or is this just purely like a comfort pick?
I think it's a comfort pick, and he fits really well into a lot of different drafts because his skill set is so versatile. Like last game, we were seeing the praises of Witch Doctor because his Death Ward combines so well with the Chronosphere. This game, we could be saying, look, you know, Voodoo Restoration allows them to go for an early game push. It's just that the hero does a lot. Hey! Alright, I think this hero should be picked a little bit more. And we're gonna see most likely Newbee, or Chemo rather, charge across the map.
Yeah, the Space Cow, Intergalactic. It's back.
5 seconds remaining.
Interesting. Also another hero that we generally only see situationally and not early. I guess in theory, you know, if it's nighttime and you get vision on the Night Stalker, you can just charge him, keep tabs on him. So there's like maybe a slight element there that we can play with, but you know, where do we mostly see Spirit Breaker? It's like if someone picks Bounty Hunter and you can carry Dust early, you know, the old EG strat. So yeah, I am interested by these Execration picks. I wonder, does it catch HellRaisers off guard?
I don't personally like Spirit Breaker picked so early because then you could pick certain myths that are less resistant to it. For example, if you see a Shadow Fiend, you're like, yeah, let's go Spirit Breaker because Shadow Fiend just has absolutely no counterplay once the Spirit Breaker is charging across the map. But now that you know that this is Spirit Breaker, you could pick something like, for example, an Invoker in the mid lane. You see him coming, easy cold snap. In the mid game, Tornado is an easy way to get rid of him. Blast, EMP, Tornado. I think the Spirit Breaker pick was a tad too early.
So HR go really focused here on the tempo controlling and the map control. They pick up 2 great gankers. They have a lot of vision now to play around with, especially at nighttime. So as for Execration, very limited vision, just the charge thus far. Curious to see if they worry much about that, if they try to match it in any way. You know, there's always heroes like Beastmaster that you can consider. We did see the Vengeful Spirit come out last game, who's you know, a decent vision hero, I guess. And they're gonna ban the Venom now, another vision hero.
To my memory, I don't think Execration play that many kind of these like Beastmaster, the core heroes like Zeus that gives you vision. So I think they're gonna be pretty much stuck in the dark, which is gonna be a big advantage for HellRaiser. One of the things that impresses me a lot about the last game, despite the fact that they lost, is some of their fight selection. The ability to say, look, we have the vision advantage around the Roshan, we're going to just walk in and take the Aegis. And I think having such a big vision advantage this game will allow them to take way better fights. So far, I like the draft much more.
Dude, Spirit Breaker looks so cool when the whole game is just shrouded in darkness. You just see these 2 glowing red eyeballs. That is terrifying.
Is that a lantern or is that just like a morning star with like magic imbued into it?
That is badass is what it is.
That is just cool. LD, can you not Instagram while we're casting for a $20 million tournament?
Someone gave me a potential fix, but it does not. Sad to say. So actually, HellRaisers banning out the Lifestealer here, and Legion Commander will be selected by Execration. So what could have been a great little package to deliver, courtesy of the Bat Rider, will not ultimately end up being available to them.
Okay.
Yeah, the Legion, obviously, we've talked a lot about the Legion as like the best option for countering Bat Rider if you want that out of the off lane. And with an early Witch Doctor Spear Breaker duo, you pretty much know those are supports, so this is really all that's left aside from Abaddon if you really want to directly counter that lasso.
Very good against the Night Stalker as well, because Night Stalker's silence, I believe, is what, 7 seconds during nighttime. It's pretty ridiculous. Legion being able to use her low cooldown spell to get rid of it is decent. I wonder if something like a Lifestealer would be in the cards. Never mind Spandau.
Welcome to the draft, Lumi. Enjoy your stay.
The fact that you are Instagramming and still get more out of the draft than me just fully paying attention to it is it says something.
Raise your fire, Lumis, boys. No. So yeah, HellRaisers, obviously they have the control now. We're looking to see what are their big damage dealers that they want to put around this. You know, one hero that's really disappeared, Lumi, at least to my, to what I've seen, is the TA. Where are all the TA picks?
I think the rise of Veno, in particular, in terms of how commonly he's picked up, might be one of the reasons. Alright, that is some damage. That is some combo.
They have a very mobile lineup now. Heroes that can dish out damage from, or get around very quickly, and dish out damage from almost anywhere, it feels like. So, still, teamfight not HellRaiser's strong suit. They are very much focused on the single target pickoff. At the same time, Dota is Execration. Neither team really going for that beefy 5-man composition. Also, neither team really is that good at sieging right now. No one has that big objective taker, so that is something I'm curious to see. Is there an adjustment to resolve that?
Queen of Pain for Execration, one of their stable heroes, no surprise there. What I am surprised about is Ancient Aberration picked into a Spirit Breaker. This Ice Cream Man is just food for the cow. Cow just charges in.
Cows eat ice cream? That's kind of messed up, isn't it?
A little bit of, is it cannibalism?
It's not cannibalism, because it's not like their flesh. It's just weird.
Isn't it pretty common a lot of, like, animals eat their own offspring, or, like, chicken eat eggs and stuff like that?
I think there are cases, chickens do not eat eggs. However,
they pick open the eggs, I know.
Or if they do, that is certainly news to me. However, there are certain animals. Mostly, they tend to be like kind of nasty creatures, like I would say like spiders and like lizards and stuff, or fish that will like eat eggs. Yeah, but actually, it's usually only one gender, and I think it's often like the male that eats them.
Yeah, it's the father cat actually likes to eat kittens.
Cats?
Yeah, seriously.
Really?
They want to eat the kittens, so the mother get into heat faster again.
Okay.
Yeah.
But don't they also want to, spread their genetic code and propagate? How can you do that if you're killing all your own offspring?
I think they just like the act of propagating.
Okay.
Figure that.
The act of propagate. All right, back on the draft here. HellRaisers, they get their damage dealer now. They're going to grab the Ember Spirit. Again, still nobody that's good at taking objectives. That is the big thing that they are lacking.
I really
but they have
like
great pickoff. I
really like Weaver here because Ancient Aberration plus Weaver is such strong lane dominance. You put the Chilling Touch and you just go in, and it solves the issue of the whole tower hitting, like you're mentioning. You are slightly weak to the burst potential of Legion locking you down and then Queen taking you out, but that is something that you can play around if you're careful.
Yeah, I mean, even Spirit Breaker can help out in those situations, but
okay.
HellRaisers, there's your building hitter. They're going to grab the Sven. With that, they've got some beefy physical damage to go with what was almost entirely a magic damage composition, so I like that. Gives them a nice spread. Execration, meanwhile, looking for their final pick. It will be a core, probably their safe laner, Fernando. Last time it was Void, but he's banned. Who you liking here, Lumi?
Something that could kite the Sven. I'm thinking you could Bristle and tank through it, Weaver to dodge things, or the good old Sven counter, the Razor himself. Razor, very good against Sven, but not as good against the Ember. But
oh god, everyone looks amazing
in the darkness.
Look at that, that's so cool.
You could only see the sword, sort of.
Dude, he looks infinitely cooler. He's like an evil Sven. Yes, I am taking pictures because I've never seen them.
I'm glad that
Don't-
one of us is
don't
taking
halo me.
taking this seriously.
I am. I'm getting excited about Dota.
I'm just... What is this? I want to go back to sleep.
Tired?
Yeah. I woke up at 4:30 for absolutely no reason.
Well, too bad. We've
Too
got
bad.
amazing Dota 2. This is the international Lumi, the biggest prize pool ever. $23
You don't get to say
million.
that as you're Instagramming Dota Wildcast.
I am sharing my enthusiasm and
Alright.
love of the game in all forms, all methods, at all times.
33 on the Ancient Apparition. We need a swap, friends. Or this is...
No, it's a core AA. Okay. Oh, no.
on the
that's-
offlaner. All right, there's a swap.
Yeah, definitely not on the offlane.
Yeah. So one thing about the Sven AA combination is that there is a 4-second chain stun if you time things properly. You Stormhammer and you Kofi at the same time, and the Kofi will trigger, and it is the bee's knees.
Is it?
It is actually the bee's knees.
AA has definitely risen in popularity, you know, since 6 months ago, I would say,
Yep. From unpicked, sometimes picked,
to sometimes mid,
to sometimes mid. Yeah.
situationally. All right, all my settings are working. So, for those of you who were here for the first game and were unimpressed by the camera control, well, at least I won't have any excuses. If it's bad this time, it's just my fault. Last time
that's
I
just-
didn't have working hotkeys,
It's Weapus.
and by my I mean weapon.
This taunt though, are you watching this? On the Spirit Breaker?
Sliding away.
Like I'm sure he got his milk this morning. He's about to get some ice cream too.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah.
I think that's dangerous. You're diving him into a lot of heroes that can punish you. That is one thing I like about the way HellRaisers drafted is they picked a lot of tools to punish a Spirit Breaker charge.
Right, and that's why like during the draft I don't think you pick Spirit Breaker
30
second.
seconds to
Right.
It's just so easily punished. Ember in particular is so easy
Easy to hit the chains. Even the Night Stalker can hit a void, especially now that he can fly over trees and
Yep.
you know, position himself so he doesn't get hit by the charge while he's casting it.
Especially if he gets the plus 100 cast range. That he's almost gonna be guaranteed getting this game. Just to have a long range way to cancel it. Raging Potato. I did mention, I believe in the draft of game 1 that they love picking a whole bunch of position 2 heroes and not putting in mid. We're gonna see Raging Potato playing in a safe lane prop. Really takes me back in the days of Dota 1 Pinoy where, you know, there's 3 couriers. You put Quap
Oh,
in the
the
safe
constant
lane.
bottle service. You
Yeah,
know?
you put a Dragon Eye mid, and it's like, you know.
You know, some people go to the club for their bottle service, but Pinoys, they go to the fields of Dota for.
I mean, Pinoy is really ahead of their time. They discover room service before, you know, we even know about it. Having your own personal courier is just room service, right?
There you go. Although it seems to only bring you a very limited selection of drinks, I have to say.
Hey, it's after hours. So. Kitchen's
You
closed.
take what you can. Kitchen's closed. So Nando on the Razor, as you mentioned, lots of position 2s. He'll be in the off lane for now. Looking at the setup here, it's 2-2-1. Gonna be Raging Potato against this annoying tri-lane. I mean, not really a whole lot of farming likely to happen here. Does have to be careful. I feel there is certainly some kill potential if they get the Kofi proc.
Away.
The Void interrupting the blink animation. If they follow that up with the Stormbolt, like, he's dead. So
Maybe
he does have to respect.
If he selected silence, that could have been a kill actually, maybe. But what it matters is that Raging Potato is getting no farm. Are we gonna see the first account of a jungle Queen of Pain at this international?
Get that Iron Talon ready, Bimbo. Let's go.
He's gonna get a D ward. This will help. 100 gold. Mid lane here, we're gonna have an LC versus Ember matchup. A pretty decent one for LC if you ask me, right? Like very easy to break the Flame Guard with your overwhelming odds. You got Moment of Courage, walk up to the lane, hit Kaiser a couple of times. Even has an Orb of Venom, not something you see.
Nando going deep up top. I think that's only a little one now. It is enough though. RR scoring the first blood with the help of Nando. Alright, things already looking up, Lumi. I've caught 100% more kills through this point in the game compared to the last one. Here we go.
Don't be so hard on yourself, it's fine.
I'm not.
Touche.
It does seem like the lanes are working out reasonably well here for HellRaisers, at least in terms of the farm department. As Chemo thinks about that charge in mid, but as mentioned, Searing Chains is just very annoying to try and charge into. You really have to catch him like coming through the trees, you know, with a Shadow Blade in order to reliably get those off.
Do you think that Execration should go for a lane swap? Put the Razor bottom, well, put your whole lane bottom and move it to the bottom. Queen right now, well, that's a change that's happening.
Oh, if the Night Stalker's there, that is a kill. Void him, he doesn't get the blink off, the animation gets cancelled and it's dead. So.
You need to actually cast the Kofi before the stun even hits. That's
generally the ideal way to do it. They cast it like the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, to answer your question, I don't really know. I feel like a Razor, if he's up against that tri-lane, is also probably going to die. Because the passive is pretty nice against all those single target spells, so maybe not. But
like
I don't think they're getting value out of the Queen of Pain pick right now. It's like you pick Queen of Pain to win the lanes, to farm really well, and then the hero obviously can scale, but we're just not seeing that as action breaking out. Up top, though, they are really punishing 3-3. That's another Maledict takedown. Crucial for them that they're making up for this tri-lane, because Sven is free farming and Quamp is getting nothing.
Yep.
So they basically have to win both of the other lanes. Mid lane, they're winning by a moderate margin in CS. Top lane, obviously, they're dominating that regard, but I don't know if it's enough.
Oh, another missed chain. Now we're going to see the charging from
Oh,
Evo.
pushing it back into the tower, but he does have the war cry.
Yep. Good damage, though. Jay out of region pretty much, but he's going to try his best to get some CS under the tower.
It's the downside partially, I think, to just picking these heroes. Like, you maybe could put the Legion bottom, but Queen of Pain is not going to be able to do a whole lot to shut down an Ember Spirit 1v1. So, still going to be farming one way or the other. As James gets aggressive here on Kaiser, diving him. He's actually got a haste through bottled up, can threaten for the kill. Alon does make his first rotation, though. It is nighttime now. He's going to sneak around, has the Hunter in the night. Razor not the ideal target with the point unstable current.
And the phase boots. I think he's just a tough kill. Yeah, he knows that he's actually being hunted. In fact, Giba coming in. Overall, this early game, I think I favor Execration. Yeah, the Queen's not doing well, and Queen's not one of those heroes that could afford to have a bad early game, but they're shutting down 33, which to me is the biggest playmaker, and Ember's being controlled relatively, so I like things going pretty well. And you generally don't see mid LC that often, but one of the advantages she gets is she picks up so many easy kills early on because she gets 6 fast, and having the bottle actually helps a lot. Your farm, just for example, the haste rune right now, if he's 6, he gets to like run up to AA and just get a kill. And we'll see if the runes will help out James as the game goes on.
Yeah, it's really nice to see a Legion having such a strong start, as he is going to haste in, start hitting Kaiser under his tower. It's that passive, like, very nice for him. Definitely can threaten for a kill at level 6, especially with a +1, maybe Chemo charging in from the side. Perhaps the Queen of Pain making a rotation, but it's going to be a little while before Potato leaves his lane. In good news, Lumi, he is getting his levels. He's already 4 in the side lane, so that's not too bad. He's not really being denied experience, particularly, just he's also not in CS. By the opening again on 3-3, gets the plasma field off. That cast keeps on bouncing. Beautiful bounces. RR, the Witch Doctor God. Tell me not to flush again.
Moments like these, and you're just like wondering why this is why they pick mid lane.
Oh, nice kill for HR. Now the charge comes through. He's going to connect on Kaiser, but he's got the Flame Guard protecting him. Greater Bash won't be enough. He's got the ability to block some of that magic damage. The cast comes in, but too late. So Spirit Breaker gives up another. Could have been 1 kill, becomes 2. Sloppiness from Execration. Still leading here as far as the raw numbers go.
I didn't see how the fight started. I wonder how James got caught out and got so low.
So he basically dove the tower, was tanking him, and then the AA came in. When all of a sudden, where he was able to trade with the Ember and just go heal, yeah. With the +1 of the AA, he was just playing as though it was a 1v1, and the AA showed up unexpectedly.
Well, duel is available now.
It's unfortunate too, because he had the level advantage. He could have gone for a duel before Kaiser hit level 6, but not anymore.
Oh, Night Stalker is setting up a bait, but here comes Chemo as well. Charge him up. Night Stalker should be fine. Fly over the tree if he needs to.
Yeah, Spearbreaker is one of the few heroes that can just man up on a Night Stalker, even at night. So I suppose that is where Execration see the value in the hero. Now, obviously, he doesn't give you as much in the vision department, and I don't think he really scales nearly as well. Partially because he basically never gets farmed, but in the bottom lane, Defending trying to the TP out. Cask says no. It's controlled. It bounces back again. Completely shut down and will be finished off. And Potato getting the last hit. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, first duel of the game. Opportunity here on the Ember Spirit. Can they finish?
No!
Oh, he remnants it. He survives. The boy lives. Oh, they should have had him.
Oh, he has a regen rune going as well. Gets canceled immediately by Raging Potato, but he's out of mana.
More chains here. They can go for this 12 kill. It's going to proc the cold feet. Maybe with the Void coming in. Potato might die as well. 3 more auto attacks will do the trick. Oh, but they only get 2.
All right, the charge bring him further away. Queen of Pain barely survives. We'll have the Shrine available. Pops it immediately. Close calls absolutely everywhere. Just like a continuation of game 1, pretty much.
Woo! That was close. But Execration continue to not be able to finish off Kaiser. They get punished multiple times now for their attempts to deal with him, and that mid lane is just feeling like a no-fly zone for them. Now, it is about to be daytime. They will get their phase boots on James. Potato's about to hit 6, so like some things are coming together to maybe set up for this next fight. They're going to make their move now on Swift Ending. No teleport scroll available for 3 seconds. 1 bash certainly should spell his demise. Maybe even without it, they'll get the kill. Cast comes through. Paladin follow-up, already level 2. Scream. Another bash. Down he will go. Execration continue to punish the Sven, who had a great start bottom, but second death in as many minutes for him.
RR is absolutely everywhere. I'm very impressed with... Like, Witch Doctor is not exactly a mechanically intensive hero, but just being at the right place at the right time. Probably the most important skill for any support player to have.
Spidey senses. Yep. You know those the hexagons that we used to do?
Uh-huh.
There should just each player had one. One of the categories should be Spidey.
Spidey senses. How do you like measure it? Just how many ganks you dodge?
It's just a feeling thing, right? I don't think there's any. I don't know if you want to try and make it statistical.
Okay.
Like you could, but
I mean, none of those hexagons were originally statistical. Just give Pavo's 4.
and you'll load it up. Pavos has a really good sense of humor about that stuff. Yeah, I don't know if he did at the time when it came out. Definitely shared a few laughs and a few drinks over the years. You missed Pavos playing Dota for me?
I think so. I think he's definitely one of the most biggest entertainers when it comes to Dota.
Dotas?
Dotas.
The Dotas?
All of them.
I'll take 1 big helping of the Dotas, please. Back to what you're getting here at TI. 4 simultaneous games.
Too many Dotas.
Non-stop action. 48 hours or so of Dotas per day. I dig it.
Emo, get out of there,
So available, but not getting out there. As mentioned, there's a lot of ways to punish that charge. He will be finished off.
He had to turn towards the mid lane, and he had a napalm on him, so it was like the slow motion turn. He thought he was in Matrix, but not really the right one.
Execration's doing a really good job of pressuring towers. They did it early last game with a much more obviously pushed grand lineup as well, but oh, Nando in the bottom lane. There was a lasso in reserve. He gets punished, roasted up, and spit out. Just wanted that extra bit of chip damage and will pay the price. Execration definitely playing sloppy, Lumi. A lot of avoidable deaths here. You know, Razor overextending, James playing too cocky in the mid lane. Multiple times they try to dive the Ember and end up, I think, feeding a total 3 kills away. So, not really correctly assessing where HellRaisers are going to be and how strong they are in some of these fights.
Chemo looks like he was discovered here. It looks like he's going to get pretty much surrounded from all sides. Milan moving forward. He's trying to taunt. All they have to do is make sure that he doesn't charge out, and they have more than enough disables to make that happen. Kaiser is on a killing spree.
Spirit Breaker on a feeding spree, 0-4. Ouch. I mean, you did mention pick it early, and it's a counterable hero, and it does feel like that's the case.
Yeah, and also I don't feel like he got a lot done in the early game. I mean, largely due to the fact that he was picked early and he got countered. But the one hero that he can bully, the Ancient Apparition, he wasn't really in the lane bullying, which I find surprising as well.
How do you transition now if you're Execration? And I think a good moment now, 12 minutes in. How is the game going for each team overall in your eyes, and who has the edge moving forward?
I think both teams are playing a pretty much a similar game plan, right? It's just relatively high tempo. You fight a lot. Neither team is really strong at taking tower. Sven eventually will be, but not for the next 10 to 15 minutes. So it's all about fighting, and I think HellRaisers is just a better fighting lineup. They have better initiation in the form of Batrider. They have better vision when it comes to it with things like Ice Vortex as well as the Night Stalker. And have better burst damage, triple Remnant and Sven. Execration does have, you know, all those categories ticked, but just to a lesser degree. So I think for Execration, they just need to make it up with better positioning and better initiation. A lot of it comes from James, but, you know, he's not... He's going to have his blink, but I expected a little bit more out of the mid LC.
Yeah, me as well. Still just mostly been farming. He is close to the blink now. So perhaps with that James blink being picked up, things will change. I agree, it's rather quiet up until now. They are prepping for a go on Kaiser. If he walks into dual range, he is done for, but so far, not obliging. Picking close to the tower and actually zips away to the woods. Seems he knew that something was up. Well, meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Nando gets jumped. The Witch Doctor, Death Ward, almost finishing off J4 though. Forces them on their heels, and now Potato hunting forward. Once 3-3, they get the charge. That's likely a dead Batrider. Could be real bad for HellRaisers if they keep on chasing too far. Potato comes in, cleans them up. J4 could be in trouble. He actually throws out the Ice Vortex, which also reveals he's in the neighborhood. A claw bolt thrown wildly.
Oh,
will
okay.
get him the kill. He ends up falling, but a 2-for-1 there.
Worth, dude. At first, I was like, okay, he jumps in like that, gets the kill. I don't think he needed to because the charge eventually would have gotten it, but at the same time, whether the Spirit Breaker could charge through a tier 1 tower with all these here was, you know, very questionable.
It was a dubious proposition.
Yeah, but it was just a standard Bimbo play, right? He goes in hard, gets things done, and on the bottom, here comes the charge. Maledict, everything is dropped. The duel comes in, but I'm not sure whether he can win the duel. In fact, he might just die right here.
He's not even close to winning it. Execration. Another 2 heroes thrown into the meat grinder. And that's really just been the story of the game. Every time they find a good fight, it's scrappy, they work hard for the kills, they get them. They then just take a pretty lopsided one that's not in their favor and give that lead right back away.
I think the idea was there, it's just that they weren't able to initiate first with the duel. Like, had the Warcry not come out, I think that engagement would have ended up a little bit differently. They would still lose a couple of heroes, but they would have definitely gotten the Sven.
HellRaisers certainly appreciating the handicap, I would say. They will now get to work on this tower bottom. Swift Ending with the early Mask of Madness. Gonna be going back for a quick blink here. No tank items, just wants to be able to get in and out of fights, farm as rapidly as possible.
I like the choice here. This game is about the fights. It's about the initiation. So making sure that you're not too reliant on the Batrider is definitely a good choice. TP's in from Kaiser. Hitting it out.
Do have a ward in the neighborhood, actually 2.
Maybe LC is just not the hero for Execration. Remember yesterday when Jay was playing it and he could not... I think he ended the game with 0 duel damage. In fact, he gave away more duel damage to the enemy as well.
I remember that game being a really bad Legion game. There was like a Pugna, there was a Dazzle.
Yeah, all of that.
I think the cores were also, there was like maybe a Dragon Knight who was really tanky or something. I can't remember exactly, but it was just a bad Legion game. And he also had not that much farm after the lane stage. This time,
hey, there you go.
It's a mid Legion. He's been given a little more farm priority, and at least for now, Execration will find the first goal of the game.
Pretty much gonna go for the same standard item. We're gonna see Blamel coming out, very likely, very good against the Sven. And now we're gonna see Charge going on the mid lane. It's gonna come in an angle where Kaiser doesn't see it coming.
Quap is coming from the south. Kaiser is going to zip away mid. The thing is, it's really got to be a +1 with a duel, I would say.
Yeah, and
like even the Spirit Breaker is not a long enough duration to be able to get those kills alone. They turn up on James. Duel number 2 available in 5 seconds, but he won't get to use it.
Yep.
Interesting build here from Nando. Gone to the early force stack, now going back for a hood. So utility tank Razor, not building, you know, like sometimes we just see like early Dragon Lance or even picking up like a Sun Yasha, but just pure mobility at least for now.
Yeah, very good at kind of getting himself out of the chain stun, or getting his ally out of chain stun. I guess we don't really need to talk about why Force Staff is such a good item, but this tank build in particular,
especially against cold speed,
yep.
ensuring that setup is huge. As Nando will get caught out. Nice purge though. James walks into the fire and he will pay likely with his life, but the quad bolt's there. Combine it with the plasma field, layering in the damage. Execration routing HellRaisers as they chase forward, and they've got the vision to continue pursuit. They can chase after. Swift Denny, they might get 2 for the price of 1. Kimo! Oh, just missing.
All right, Milan, he is going to go down easy. Nando, Plasma Field, force that forward, a couple more right clicks. Raging Potato, I got to remind you guys, started this game
6-1 and 2.
Yeah, he didn't even see creeps for the first 2 minutes. He just got bullied so hard in the lane. The only time he died, he was getting a double kill on the right side of like some tier 1 towers. That is Jay for you. This is one of the reasons why he's the biggest name in Pinoy Dota, or was at least.
And boy, has he matured a lot over the years. You know, like he used to be a very hot-headed player back when he was playing with Jules. Like one or the other of them in the Dota 1 days would often, you know, be overextending, playing a little cocky, throw games away that were won, but he feels like that stable veteran presence in the core role nowadays where, you know, sure he can make flashy plays, but you also don't see him making sloppy mistakes the way you used to, so.
I think he still does.
He's aged, I think he's aged like a fine wine.
He has, it's just that his playstyle is about like walking that fine line, right? Like a lot of his edge is identifying when is the moment I could go in and when is the moment I don't. And sometimes he misidentifies, you know, players make mistakes. And now he is not going to make a mistake for an easy kill. They even get the dual damage. Okay.
Turn around though. Fail comes through. Cold feet gonna proc. Oh, they're gonna lose Potato. Do they lose James as well? Stun. Follow up.
Yes, they do.
A bridge too far for Execration. And again,
though.
still the story of this game that they find great fights and then they find over ambitious ones to get punished. At least they took the AA with them that time. Now they'll answer back a 2 for 2 around the map. HellRaisers wanting to come in. They do have the last already for 3-3. Fishing Chemo up on the high ground, but looks like Execration. These for now are going to make it back.
Lane break? Okay. Hutchinson tail end, but it's far enough away. So one thing I mentioned earlier when you're asking me how the game's going to go is that I think HellRaiser still has a better lineup for this kind of game. But the Pinoy Dota, the familiarity with this kind of playstyle, to me, I think Execration is unfavored. They've been playing this kind of Dota for the last 10 years. Like, they wake up and they play these type of Dota. It's just hectic all over the place. I think the experience might give Execration
the jinx. The jinx. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I am sorry, Rachel.
Did I say that they have the experience playing this kind of Dota?
Experience losing this kind of Dota as well, maybe?
Yeah, for sure.
It's unfortunate death. 2 now for Jay. Just as soon as you start to toot the player's horn, but Castle. Ugly hit. Buyback. Maybe they try to force this fight. Milan gets stunned as they charge through. They get off a great static again. Now a duel to follow it up. Here comes the Ice Blast, but I think the Legion is fine. Trade his life for that if the spend. The Razor's low as well, though. Dropping fast, and he will fall. They don't buy back on the Queen of Pain, and that's going to cost them all 4 dead. Oy, oy, oy.
It's so rare that an Ice Blast hits both cores. In fact, I'm very used to Ice Blast missing nowadays, but they both committed super hard for the Sven. And I think the fact that they commit for the Sven multiple times is what's costing them, right? I think if you just go for some of the backline, or even just go for the Ember, they're so easy to kill. Sven had his God Strength up. He's so tanky. He's like over 2k HP with very respectable armor, even when he doesn't have Warcry activated.
I just think if you want to take that fight, you buy back on Queen of Pain.
Sure, or that.
5v5, she's got ult ready, and if you don't want to, just let the tower go.
I honestly, I still think that they lose the fight, because when both your LC and Razor gets hit by the Ice Blast, sure, you get the Sven kill faster, but you're gonna die eventually. Buyback or no buyback. I just thought that
And the Legion is starting to feel very under-farmed at this stage. Basically, even with the Batrider, despite being given the mid-farm priority. And as a result, drops quite easily in these fights. Got the casual Helm of Iron Will, but now rethinking things. Was going for a Shadow Blade, now thinking about a BKB. Basically, unsure of what item will salvage these upcoming fights.
It's not just him too. Look at Raging Potato has a ultimate orb. I think he was thinking of perhaps Lincoln's, but now it switches to Yule's.
A lot of wasted gold there. That's like 3,000 gold between the two of them.
Yep.
That isn't directly being converted into real items.
And they're not like winning really hard. They're not farming particularly too well, but the game is very close. So small stuff like that could really decide. Like for example, if HellRaiser wins a fight now, they could really propel ahead. Especially when you, like I said, 3k gold is pretty much in items that don't do anything really.
What is scary for Execration is if you look at HellRaisers, they have the Midas coming on the AA. Kaiser's gone for the BOTs pretty early, so they are gearing up for a very strong follow-up into the mid-game with a lot of extra gold, a lot of mobility. If it does slow down and become a farm war, the way Execration is itemizing, they're definitely going to lose out there. They're already worse at farming with the Ember spin, and then you've got this Midas in effect, the early BOTs as well. There is no way you're keeping up unless you're finding fights again.
I'm personally of the mind that Sven hits a peak at one point and he starts falling off.
When do you think that peak is?
I mean, once he gets like 5-6 slotted, the peak is hit. And then he becomes very easily kiteable, especially when his BKB gets to like the 5-second mark. And if you look at the lineup for Execration, they have really good heroes for kiting them. Pretty much every single hero that Execration has either kites Sven or helps the allies to kite Sven.
What heroes would you say do not hit their peak when they have 6 items?
Well, I mean,
Lone Druid?
I guess that's not a really good way to describe it. It's just that...
You mean more like he's very BKB reliant?
Yes, and like for Spectre... hold that thought.
Big charge on the Swift ending, looking to bring him down early. They get off the quad bolt, heavy commitment. And the duel at the end, 48 duel damage. Already 3+ times more than what they had yesterday. And a much longer game.
Like for a certain other type of carries, they retain a lot of their late game potential once you hit a certain point with items. But like you said, the BKB duration is so important for Sven. The enemy supports itemizing to get 4-stab also doesn't help in Sven. So I think Sven, as well as most other melee cores, really falls off fast once the peak is reached. So going super late, I still think that HellRaiser is favored, but perhaps less so than most people imagine. I think this game is close enough where, again, it comes down to execution.
Well, you say that, but once the Legion gets his level 25 talent, Lumi,
True.
Think of the damage.
I mean, you could make the argument, though, that you want to get the -8 second burst attack.
I think everyone is attracted to the damage, and unfortunately, they don't have it here.
Nope.
It's like Kaiser should easily be able to zip away. This is where, like, if you have a Blade Mail in the Legion, that Ember is dead for sure.
Did he have Flameware on? I don't think he did. So I'm not sure how much right-click damage he would have reflected.
I think it was.
Bottom side here, we're going to see more fight happening. Queen of Pain going to get blown up.
Now the chase is on Milan, pounding James as he gets charged in turn, but already Execration forced to retreat. The smoke thrown in kind of casually, but now the void, the dust to counter it. They lock James down, they chew him up. Sven on the warpath as he storms down mid. Still no sign of Nando looking to join that engagement. He is becoming their most important hero with the way the game's developing. The only one keeping up in farm with December and Sven, actually surpassing them for now. Normally Razor not known for being able to take it all that late.
Yeah.
He is a decent matchup against Sven on paper. Certainly Ember not very good at bursting him, but also they just kind of ignore him and go for the backline. So it's an interesting dynamic that'll emerge.
The fact that he's really high farm is impressive because he hasn't gone for any farming. This is not a Midas Razor that we see, like, for example, Burning has gone for in the past. Hood as one of his early major items that don't help you farm, yet he is the #1 network, so that's impressive. The other thing I want to point out is his talent choice. You almost always, like 95% of the time, see the cast range being selected. It's so important to actually get off a good static link, especially against the Sven, right? We call it the Sven counter because of the static link. But he goes for the unstable current damage. Yes, there is a lot of single target nukes and stuff, but I don't know. I find it hard to justify the skill option.
Yeah, I agree. I think staying on the spend static link is your #1 priority. I guess that said, though, they have so many single target abilities here, like that are going to be key in fights. The Stormbolt, the Void, the Silence. The
But are they going to fire it on you, though? That's the thing.
I think they need to use some of those on you.
Sure,
or you're just going to do whatever you want in the fights. Like at some point, this Razor, and actually not too far from now, will have a BKB as well. I guess that's the situation where how much does that talent really offer?
Right,
you?
exactly.
In theory, you want to just be killing everyone during your BKB.
You have a BKB and a hood. Like, are they gonna fire some Kofi at you? It's just like, I don't know.
That I agree. That the way he's itemizing, then I think it doesn't make.
Could be a misclick.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Execration will retreat to the same side of the map. But a ward is dropped there. Perhaps it's not so safe after all. As 3-3 came from RR. Looking to sneak in and start the party. Chemo. Actually, now he gets turned on. He tried to charge in. He gets voided on the way out. Commitment, though. HellRaisers are content to slow this game down. Play the farm game. But you can see a conga line of Execration heroes roaming top. They are on the prowl for that big Sven. And really not going to find it.
One thing that HellRaiser has been doing an excellent job is stacking their Ancients repeatedly. Every time I look over to Ancient Cap, it's stacked. In fact, they're both stacked currently. And like you mentioned, Execration doesn't farm as well. Moving forward, HellRaisers are going to get a little bit more out of the map constantly. Yule Scepter finish on Raging Potato, going back for the Lincoln Sphere.
That is one thing Execration, it's very classic Pinoy Dota. They love their Lincoln Spheres, they love their Yule Scepters. I still remember the old Tiny that they used to play where he'd get like Force, Blink, Yules. He would not go for that big like parry Tiny even when it was all the rage, but here comes the fight in the bottom lane. HellRaisers getting the jump, but forcing that Razor on his heels. He gets clipped by a triple remnant, deleted from the fight, even with the hood, even with the pike. No chance he gets out there, now roasting in the flames. HellRaisers cleaning up. It's all about the jump, Newbee. Every fight, they get the initiation advantage with the Night Stalker, with the Bat Rider, quickly isolating a target. They're getting hit by the Ice Blast, then they just run. The Razor backs away. He's not forcing the fights. The Night Stalker vision lends his resistance, and then they just crumble from there.
Ooh, nice dodge away here from Kaiser, dodging the ultimate of the Spearbreaker. The crazy thing in that fight was that LC was hiding in the trees south of the Razor to prepare for that engagement. The lasso went onto the Witch Doctor. He then quickly got pressed the attack up, but it didn't matter at that point. Triple Remnant in, Ice Blast on the face of Razor, and it doesn't matter that he went for Hood first. Still got blown up. That BKB cannot come any sooner for that Razor because he really needed it.
Of course, once he gets it, I still do look at HellRaisers as a great kiting lineup. You've got the Warcry, Night Stalker's mobility. You've got two flying heroes with the Night Stalker and the Bat Rider, and the Ember who can jump in and out of the fight. So I don't feel like, oh, you get BKB, they're going to have to fight you. You can just AoE stun them and hit them and they're all going to die. They can also very easily just run away. You waste your BKB, and then your Razor is a sitting duck.
Right. And that's where you use that BKB in conjunction with the LC duel, with the charge in and things like that.
It's got to be a 1-by-1 type thing for Execration. Find that first pick, and then once HellRaisers have committed to try and save him, hopefully you find more fleeing the scene. So at 30 minutes, it's 4K gold lead emerging for HellRaisers. Heading later into the game, Lumi, it sounds like you favor HellRaisers as well.
I think HellRaisers lineup is easier to execute, especially now that Milan is, getting longer and longer night duration as Darkness gets leveled up. Again, I said it many times already, but Execration needs to outplay, and so far it's not looking like they're able to do it.
There's a lot of heroes who can make big plays on HellRaisers. Ice Blast can be a game changer. The Bat Rider and Night Stalker can be playmakers through their vision and mobility, and obviously a well-placed Sven or Ember initiation can change the tides of the fight. So I really feel like all 5 of HellRaisers' heroes can win them fights. It's not just one guy like a Void who has to hit a chrono for them to have that shot. And that makes it hard to outplay.
I mean,
like, how's a Witch Doctor going to outplay HellRaisers? You know, that's not something you can rely on.
I mean, that cast, dude, on 2 heroes.
Razor doesn't have a huge amount of outplay potential. Like, unless they screw up, you're very reliant on their mistakes. To me, it's like the Queen of Pain and the Legion who can make big plays, really.
KB is up on Razor, but you don't see Execration actively pushing any towers or anything because it just can't. We are getting to a point where a one-team fight means Roshan as well, so both teams need to be very diligent to make sure that Rosh is properly rewarded. And HellRaiser, looking for that initiation. Raging Potato.
Ooh, he was ready to go. Even Sven ready. So it's a triple Lincoln's game.
Yep. The Sven Lincoln pretty common as a, I don't want to say a counter to the Razor, but just makes it a little bit harder for the Razor to itemize. Now, Nando's reliant on the Lincoln being broken. He can use his own Hurricane Pike to break it, but I think he wants to have that available as a chasing or escaping tool.
Doesn't seem like Execration have this huge sense of urgency in their minds. They're content to just play the farm war.
Yeah.
Play a slow game. I do feel like they have some good scaling cores, not amazing, but obviously Queen of Pain late game is not to be underestimated.
I actually
Razor is a good matchup for the Sven late, and the Legion now obviously is the damage talent, which can make him quite a force. So on paper, I think Execration could take this late. I think HellRaisers have more options on how to win those fights later on.
I actually think that HellRaiser is stronger, like, you know, the 45 minutes in, but Execration is stronger 60 minutes in because their talents. You talked about the LC, like both his talents are amazing late. And now we're going to see a fight on the high ground. Nando just charges forward, no fear. He has the BKB, but very low on the mana already.
Blow the ult early, he also shrines up.
No, I think this game goes to Execration if this goes super, super late. Obviously, that does factor in what kind of item, let's say AA, as well as Night Stalker goes for. AA has that Midas, so he can scale pretty well into the late game.
I think it's all down to execution for me. I think Execration's cores probably match up a bit better versus HellRaisers in the ultra late game, but I also think HellRaisers have the much better pick-off potential.
Yep.
The Blink Lasso initiation. There's only the Legion as a real counter to that, especially once there's BKB on the field in the late game, assuming he goes for it. And you've obviously got the Ice Blast to delete a hero.
Well, the daytime push.
There we go. No darkness available, but they are unafraid, and they force out a glyph early. Execration coming head-on at them, so if the HellRaisers want to just retreat, they can do so safely. And like, I think you made the key point there. It's daytime, and they're still pushing. They are not afraid of Execration at this state of the game.
I guess one of the most reliable ways to break the Lincoln is just Spirit Breaker charge at the start of the fight or at the start of the initiation. That's something that Kimo could communicate with his allies.
It's also one of the big benefits of having a Lincoln is that he can't just be charging you and you have to worry about it. As soon as that charge is used, you just realize they might be ganking you and retreat.
No, I mean in the scenario where let's say Sven is on the high ground hitting your building, and as Execration you charge to break the Lincolns, and then you could duel him or link him up. Yeah.
No, I understand that. I'm saying like it still has a lot of benefit, allowing you to farm the map more freely.
That's for sure.
Outside of those scenarios. But yeah, you're also right that in an actual team fight, it's a very unreliable Lincoln Sphere because of the Sphere Breaker, with his global Lincoln's breaking potential.
I think for Execration fans out there, don't need to be too worried. Their late game is, they're scaling there. Bloodthorn is being committed here by Queen of Pain, the first major damage item, major damage source from them. And of course the level 25 for both LC and Queen is the goal.
Well, grab some coffee if that's the case. We're going to be here for a while. This Legion's item progression has been awful, though, Lumi. That is a big concern for me. He still does not have BKB. We're 36 minutes in. 2k net worth down on a Bat Rider when he got more farm priority and needs more items, really, to be a relevant force in the late game. And James has gotten absolutely nothing.
Initiation here on the cow. Immediately press the attack, but 33, there's no punish to him because he 4 stabs away.
Good play by James there to be able to purge that off, but at the same time, HellRaisers, they could just retreat. Reset, there's no urgency here.
Yep.
They'll go back to farm.
For either team, it feels like there's no urgency.
We'll be here all day.
We got other games to cast, so.
Well, these teams have other games to play. Ideally, want to not drag it out longer than necessary.
Sure.
Series of...
Oh!
Emo finally is going to strike J4. He even gets off the blade mail here. J4 going to go down to that turn momentarily. They didn't get the duel, sad to say, but that might also mean the duel's available for an actual kill opportunity. If they get in range of Milan, it's a double. Finally, Execration will end the drought and get on the board. Maybe they can Roche now.
Yeah, I think so. They don't have the greatest damage. No medallion available for the team. But no heroes who coming to slow it down either, so.
37 minutes in, score 20-23. Execration sitting 2-3 in the group. HellRaisers 1-2 as they look to finish off this Roshan.
Okay.
But there's a buyback from Milan. They want to take this fight. Looking for the jump forward. He remnants into the pit, zips in, looks for the Aegis, snatches it too!
God.
And with that, maybe the game away from Execration. Milan's been brought low, but not finished off. A nice death ward from RR. Still going, but the war cry mitigates most of the damage. 1 down, about to be more. 2 have fallen, including the Queen of Pain. Now Nando's trapped in the pit. He's liable to be the 3rd if he gets any help. Perhaps this fight turns around. No, maybe not. He's stolen 200 damage. Still engaging. That flame break comes in. Now Chemo trying, but won't be able to get any escape out of this fight. And now Nando, 4th on the list. And HellRaisers likely to find him too. Even jumping forward for RR. It's 5 dead. HellRaisers slaughter all and leave a bloody trail of bodies on the path to the Execration base.
That was so painful. They get the Aegis. I think they win the fight in a pretty lopsided fashion. I don't know. It feels so bad for Execration. But great play. I mean, that's why that the buyback it surprised me, and it definitely surprised Execration. And the ballsy play of Kaiser going in, game saving.
Not only game saving, it might just have been game winning. HellRaisers have 50 seconds with no Razor, no Quap for 15. Surging into the base, looking for the Slain of Rax. The God Strength is cooling down. They also find the lasso. Follow up here, and James can't purge it off yourself when you're lassoed, man. Down he goes. That's no Legion for 50. Additional time now gifted to HellRaisers. Diving deeper for kills. Objectives on the menu. They can rotate towards mid. There's no tier 2 to block their path. It's going to require a miracle for Execration to hold the line. Maybe that big Queen of Panel is on the horizon. We'll see. Out it goes, blinking forward for the Scream. They do get the kill on the Sven. Not only the kill, but also removing the siege engine. We'll put a stop to this. But blood has been drawn, Lumi. Execration now down a full lane track.
Yep, this is just got much harder. Shrines are now open. Eventually, HellRaiser could come back and take it. I think the goal lead is starting to pull to a pretty wide degree now. Queen of Pain, gotta be very careful. The rotation's coming in from the side. HellRaiser, Shipbreak is linked, the lasso's there. That should be enough here. No time for Rachel Potato to
Jules can maybe get that blink. Yeah, no. Kaiser was ready for it. Remnants back in. Times it just right. Gets the bonus damage and the kill. Oh man, what a turn of the tides for HellRaisers. It was pretty even. 5k gold at the 30-something minute mark is more or less a draw. I would say it's a very marginal advantage at best, but with that fight being on now, surging up to 11, 12k, multiple deaths on the cores here. Still no BKB for James. We're now 40 minutes in. This Legion commander has just not paid off. A handful of duels, but I like you said, it just doesn't seem to be Execration's hero. This is 2 games now in 2 different positions where the Legion has not really amounted to much.
I think it's more of the role that he's assigned in this game. Like, he has to, even though he sees creeps, he has to stand behind his cores to just let them farm and use Pressy attack as a defensive tool. And as a result, he's allowing the Queen of Pain and the Razor to take much more farm. But still, I think the BKB is so important that you should have just allowed him to get it earlier. Now, Nano gets picked off as well.
Lasso to start it off. Can't be out on your own farming at nighttime, and that is probably the biggest issue for Execration is that they have lost map control. And
Vision, man. They don't have any of it.
And they're already worse at turbo farming, even if they're able to move around the map freely, and now they're not able to move around the map freely. So the deficit, the gap is likely to widen. RR though will try to sneak in, glimmering himself forward, break that Lincoln Sphere. Now they can set up the duel, the quad ball comes through. Huge opportunity here, they do get the kill. That's what the Doctor ordered to keep Execration in this game. Now looking for Kaiser as well. The Ember Spirit though, able to slice, dodging away and back to safety, and still they stay on their ground, but Milan's gonna be next to the list. They don't have that frontline tech. Without the spin, HellRaisers are much more killable. He also does that buyback, he's out for 70. They could maybe get more, but has the Spirit Breaker overplayed his hand. He sticks around a bit too long. Chemo likely to go down, will drop in the end. Kaiser is unafraid. That was, I believe, a dieback on the Razor. Out for 7 minutes with no buyback. Dead for 80 seconds. Still Execration want to fight. They're going to have a duel soon. 10 seconds to go, but it's not ready yet. He also gets caught. Lasso's there. With all the follow-up damage raining in, and will be enough for the kill. The chase is on. Now Kaiser looking for more. Chaining forward, locking down RR, and just when you think Execration are getting back in the game again and again, they keep on giving up kills. HellRaisers punish them time and time again, and now it's a second lane of Rax. It's likely a 1-1 split in this series. The climb grows ever steeper if they want to claw their way back.
Yep. Like I mentioned, around the 45-minute mark, HellRaiser just has a stronger lineup. There is really no damage on the side of Execration. Yeah, there's things like Bloodthorn, there are Sonic Wave. We saw how quickly they were able to blow up the Sven. But then, what about round 2? The cooldown relatively low on HellRaiser's side. And this Ember Spirit, there is just no clean answer. Or rather, there's not enough clean answer. If you dump everything on the Sven, then Kaiser gets to do whatever he wants. If you dump everything on Kaiser, then Swift Ending is going to just close out the game. So it's tough here for Execration.
Now the map control is completely gone. You know those shrines are coming next. With the Sven, they'll drop fast as well. Completed Daedalus now online for him. Shrine 1 down, next to follow shortly. The Noose will begin to cinch around Execration's necks, and should they lose this, they drop to 2 and 4. What could have been a 3-3 start to day 2 is looking like a pretty big mountain to climb in this group stage, and on the side of HellRaisers, they'll be sitting at 2-2 and still very much in the running. Potential to go deep. They can have a strong finish to the day. It's not entirely over yet. They have to get this last lane. They need to kill off that throne. It'll begin, as it always does, with 2 flying harpies moving in. The Night Stalker, the Baron, for that quick jump.
Why Harpy? Why Harpy has such a negative connotation?
I mean, they're pretty nasty.
It could be Valkyries, you know?
Valkyrie? No, the only Valkyrie in this game is Legion Commander.
Does he have Valkyrie?
Looks like a Valkyrie. She. Your lore right. We should learn lore with Lumi. We'll have Slacks putting you in the classroom.
Shouldn't we just learn lore with Slacks? Did he invent
I mean,
the lore?
you'll be the student. He'll be the master.
Okay. Is Skywrath Mage a Valkyrie? Or is he just a flying
An
chicken?
angel, I think.
Angel, okay.
Or whatever, like a half angel might be. He looks angelic.
Okay.
Pure.
Anything with the white wings is angelic.
I would say so.
Yeah.
So as for HellRaisers now, up 21k gold. Anything they're waiting for, or is now the time to break the stage?
Aegis would be nice. It's spawning really, really soon. Or may spawn really soon. There's no hurry, right, if you're HellRaiser. You could just afford to wait that 2 extra
Camp
minutes.
mid, camp top, let bottom push, and then go Roche, then you end the game. That seems to be the plan. judging by the way they're playing. Rolling hereabouts.
I see the only way that HellRaiser could maybe start to lose on this game again is they push up the high ground now, gets wrecked, and then Raging Potato and team gets an Aegis, and she's off the back of that. And this game could maybe get a little scary for HellRaiser, but all they have to do is wait, get Aegis, and finish.
Yeah, they get that next shrine, so they further steepen the hill that Execration would have to climb if they want to get back in the game. Just wait for that next Roche. 3-3's in the neighborhood to do it. Execration struggling to exit the base. This once a very close game has slipped away out of their grasp, but now they see it plummeting into the abyss. Still, Execration did play one of the hardest teams in their groups already. They played LFY, who, last I checked, were still winning the group. So I don't view them as out of the running by any means.
They still have to play Newbee as one of the other top teams.
Yeah, but it's not like their 2-0 was against, you know, HellRaisers or something where it's like, oh man, you're getting 2-0'd by other qualifier teams, now you're really in trouble. I guess LFY technically was a qualifier team, but I view them as a team that's expected to be pretty strong going in.
They're still VP, they're still OG, IG, these are...
That is true. Ooh, a little vacuum lasso action there. Gonna suck Nando back in, but he does have the BKB.
Oh, buyback
On the Ember. They're gonna try to force the fight here as he did get picked off all the way in the top lane. Duel, he actually jumped right back in. Raging Potato was there to greet him. I think was hoping that his team could finish off Nando during that time. And then they'd have the power play. They know that Nando is not a buyback for 2 minutes. Perhaps more importantly, they just don't want to risk Execration getting the Roche.
Ember buyback was a little hasty, but shouldn't matter given the Aegis. Actually, he has no slots left. Drops the Lotus for it, right?
Aegis now about to be claimed. Kaiser definitely going to be the one to take that.
And
she's available for him as well.
Oh, Sven takes it. Okay.
All right. Imagine it's sieging time for HR. If they want to. If they want to wait for the buyback, they're going to miss their window with this Aegis. So.
Yeah, that is the one thing that you kind of mentioned during the draft is how, like HellRaiser just doesn't have too good of a push. Yes, Sven could stand in the high ground, but as we've seen, Execration has no trouble breaking the Lincolns and then using the static link on the Sven.
Sven is definitely a good building hitter. He's just a risky building hitter because of his melee nature and, you know, lack of an easy escape mechanism.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, if it's not the Sven, who else is doing it? It's Ember?
It's definitely not an Ember with this build.
Right, so...
It's poke damage at best.
Then Execration, to me, has still quite a bit of time here. Unless HellRaiser does commit using to that Aegis and getting something.
Definitely would agree with you there. HellRaisers. 50 minutes in. Still searching for an opportunity to finish off this base. They're up 2 lanes of racks. This is the type of game that you can really have to make sure you close out, though, at TI. We've seen so many TIs where teams have their gimme games and they throw them, and then they have, you know, then there's some team in the group that ends up being stronger than expected, 2-0s you. Suddenly you needed that one game to stay in the upper bracket or to, in this TI, to avoid being the 9th team. And you don't want to throw away even a game that feels won or 90% plus won.
Every game matters.
Yeah. Especially in this format, like there's, you know, every game is just a single point. There's no, you know, bonus points for going 2-0, so you have to treat every single game as equally important. At least in these early stages where you have no idea who's going to come out on top. It's going to really be the strongest teams in the group. They do make their move now, though. Surging Kaiser in. Ben getting to work, but he does get slowed down. The Stormbolt comes out. He will be purged for that. The lasso is there. Dragging in the Witch Doctor. That's a big part of the damage that could be gone. But the combo! Raging Potato unloads. He brings down a decent amount of damage on the enemy squad, but he can't finish anyone off. They've already lost their supports, and the big load has been blown. If Nando doesn't get something done with this BKB, he's likely not going to do so at all. He does bring down Milan as the trade, but now the Ember comes back into the fight. Aegis already popped. Time for round 2. Cheese was committed as well, I believe. So now they will chain up Nando, and finally they can turn their attention to the tower. They have the power play. They should be able to hit the structures here, but they want the Razor. Warcry, big commitment on him. Nando pushed back. The buyback, I think, is almost off cooldown. Even if he dies, yeah, he's got it again. So he can buy back instantly, but they've lost the 4th now. They're going to have a big power play. HR, the overwhelming advantage now. It was dicey for a moment there, but they will clutch it out. Now they get to send on this Razor, lasso him, control him, probably bring him down. If not, send him packing to the well. The chains are there. The death is in. With that, out for 2 minutes. They have clutched the game. They will end up tying the series 1-1. It'll be Bimbo watching his city burn.
The paint buys back here, activating the BKB as well. Melee racks now getting railed on by Swift Ending. Do they want the racks or do they want the queen?
Just hit the buildings. HellRaisers, they're thinking about kills too. They'll get a couple of them. Good charge coming in, but it's too late from Chemo. Raging Potato has that spell vamp now, so he's harder to kill.
GG.
But not hard enough. There's the GG. Raw force of arms wins the day. HellRaisers just had too many extra lives, too much beef. They will prevail.